It's obvious that you listen to this show to hear about and support other people's dreams. But what about yours? What is your dream project? I'm here to help you break through whatever is in the way of your dreams and get you to the finish line. Go to dreamingbigcoaching.com today and take the first step. Literally, it's a button you can click to sign up for a free consultation with me. Let's find out if I can help you reach your goal. Click on Take the First Step. It's that simple to start the rest of your life. Get coached by Rob Southgate at dreamingbigcoaching.com. Welcome back to Go Fund This, the podcast where you find out about the coolest crowdfunding campaigns out there that you definitely want to know about. I'm your host, Rob Southgate, and today I am joined by Sean Nittner from Evil Hat Games to talk about the Backerkit for Big Bad Con 2023. I know you're going to love this project. It is so fantastic and deep in my wheelhouse. Without further ado, here's Sean. Sean, welcome to the show. I am excited to have you here. We are venturing outside of our norm of comic books and short films and TTRPG kind of. You have a con that you're kickstarting, Big Bad Con 2023. This is just so cool. I cannot wait to hear about this whole project and to talk about the whole thing. But before we get into that, two questions. One is, when do we launch? Because we have not launched yet.
Correct. Yes, we launch June 6th.
June 6th. Okay. So everybody listening, you have your marching orders. You want to go to Backerkit. It's not a Kickstarter. It's a Backerkit. Links will be in the show notes too, because there's a good chance I'm going to either call this an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter later in the show.
It happens. It's like
it happens.
You just
right.
Say it. I get it. Totally.
So it's a Backerkit. Look up Big Bad Con, but it will be in the show notes. So it'll make it nice and easy. You can go on and you can sign up to be notified when it's going to launch. So you'll know what's happening, right? But this is a con you want to get in there and support. The goal is $15,000. And as of right now, we have 0 backers because it hasn't launched yet.
We haven't launched yet. Yeah. But we got a couple followers, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, let's get you a lot more followers. Spread the word. Anyone listening, spread the word. Share this because this con is going to be really cool. You're going to hear about it in just a second. So, Sean.
Yes.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hey, everybody. Rob, first off, thank you so much for having me on the show.
My pleasure.
When you sent out the invite, I listened to a few episodes and they were really, really great. I love the way you delve into people's crowdfunding campaigns and support them. You're doing good work here. So thank you.
Thanks. So my whole thing is helping people achieve their dreams. I have a consulting business about that. I have multiple podcasts about that. Like everything I do, it's like, how do I make my friends money so that they can, do custom art or they can host a con? How do I do this? So I love that you picked up on that. I love it.
It shows through and through. Anyway, hi, everybody. Thanks for listening. My name is Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. I am the steward of Big Bad Con, which we started in 2011 was our first year. I'm also the project manager for Evil Hat Productions. So you may be hearing about some of my other stuff that I'm working on in another episode.
Yeah, stay tuned. I think it's tomorrow.
And by day I'm a system administrator for account performances. So I wear lots of hats, only some of them evil. Big Bad started for me as a passion project. I was part of a group many years ago called Good Omens, and we were a group of GMs that all sort of play tested each other's games, really helped each other bring the best possible game to conventions that we could. And we started our own mini con called Good Omens Con. Yes, we named ourselves after the book of the same name, if you're wondering. And ran that for 7 years, and it was great. I love the connections I made. I love seeing people run games. I remember at one point walking through the space that we were running all the games in and being like, this is like my birthday, Christmas, New Year's, all rolled up into a slumber party, all rolled up into one, everything I could hope for. And Big Bad Con was my opportunity to grow that from a 1-day event to a 3 and now 4-day event.
Wow.
That runs in San Francisco. It's September 28th this year. We're right next to the airport, which is very convenient. In the past, we have been a bit further off. You can get off the airport and there's a shuttle right there, which is great. But most importantly, Big Bad is, you say you like to help people fulfill their dreams, Rob. For me, the dream of Big Bad is to bring amazing people together, specifically people who are not often heard, whose voices aren't often heard, to come together to play all kinds of new wild indie games, try out new experiments, play test things, and just have an opportunity to both build community with each other through dinners, through hangouts, through social events, and industry connections through our meet and greet event and through our professional panel line. So the con really strives to help marginalized folks not only attend, but really thrive at the con and make it a space that's theirs.
Yeah, man, you're saying everything I love here. In fact, I know you're a not-for-profit. I saw that you have a scholarship as well. Yes. You say right on here, you love to help women and people of marginalized genders, people of color, disabled, LGBTQIA plus. I mean, this is great, man. So my experience with tabletop, I'm not as deep in it, even though I love it. I've only been to Gen Con once, and then I've worked with a lot of tabletop stuff. And one of my biggest takeaways is this is a community that is supportive of marginalized people, that is supportive of people that in other areas might have some difficulty. And I love that you're going head on saying, yeah, we support it. This is who we want here. This is what we want everyone to have fun. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, aren't we all the same thing? We're all wanting to have a good time and make connection. I don't care what you look like, what you got going on. That's what we want. And I love that you guys are just so open about that. It's fantastic. Now you really want me to come to Big Bad Con. I'm so excited about this.
I know. I really do. Well, and the scholarship is something we're really proud of. And it's something this year that we're really focusing on in the crowdfunding, because in the past, we've raised money for the scholarship during the crowdfunding. And we've given up to 20 awards for of scholarships in the past. In addition, we also have a separate POC programming track specifically to bring out people of color to the con and offer industry possibilities. So we actually have a total of 3 different ways that we're bringing people out. One is stretch goals, the other is through the Big Bad Con scholarship, and then the other one is through the POC programming track. So we have these many multifaceted ways that we try to bring as many people as we can to the con and have them get them as much out of it as they can. But the scholarship really took off this year. I think last year was a real awakening. It was the first time coming back after COVID for 2 years. It was a smaller con, but when people left, they just had such an amazing time that they were talking about it so much that there's so much good feels and good vibes out the con that people want to come this year. And folks who missed it, really want to come out. And I've seen now we have over 100 scholarship applications.
Oh, fantastic.
And I want to say yes to as many of those people as I can. The amount of financial support we give is going to vary. Some people need a lot because they're traveling far. Some people literally are just like, can you cover my badge? And we want to help out as many of those folks as we can. So the big push this year, the crowdfunding is going to be like, yes, help us pay for the con. That is important. But there's many tiers. There's a $20 just support the scholarship, all the way up to the $520 convention sponsorship level, which we split half of that to the scholarship and half goes into the general funds. Really trying to focus on helping as many of those people as we can come out, because it's one of the most important things we do, for sure.
So how big would you say your con is?
In 2019, the last year before COVID, we were just under 1,000.
Nice.
2022, we came back and we were just over 500. So we dropped in half in that.
Okay. Everybody did.
Everybody did. However, there was some really interesting data points that we got out of it. One of them was that of the 500 attendees, 250 of them were first-time attendees. So that means we didn't really cut in half. We cut down to a quarter, and then we got
as many
of new attendees. So one thing I'm suspecting from the hubbub, from the buzz so far, is that we're getting not only the 250 new attendees who really loved it, want to come back and have shared it with their friends, but also some more of those folks from pre-COVID who looked at our safety protocols, because we have a very rigorous COVID safety regimen. We had 0 transmissions last year. It was, a huge effort on our part to require masks in event spaces, require vaccination, offer rapid tests. And for some people, that doesn't fit well with them. But for our attendees who really valued feeling like they're being kept safe, as much as you can be kept safe, nothing is perfect. It made a big difference. And I think a lot of folks are looking at coming back now that they've kind of seen the proofs in the pudding. Like, hey, we had 0 transmissions. There's not a lot of big events that can claim that.
Really right. I've been to a number of them that definitely cannot claim that.
Yeah. We're not huge, right? You scale past a certain point and there's nothing you can do, but we are a small enough size that we feel like we can really,
you beat the percentages, because even, I don't care what the size is, the percentage was high of what was going to hit. And if you were at 0, you beat the percentages no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. Yeah. You have tabletops going on there. You also do some stuff with LARPs.
Absolutely.
Let's hear about the LARPs.
Yeah. I just heard from Jason Morningstar from Bully Pulpit that he has submitted a couple of LARPs of his own. LARPs are, when I started Big Bad, again, it's 2011, I noticed that the East Coast conventions that I went to, Origins, Gen Con, the same folks would play LARPs as RPGs, and there wasn't a lot of friction between them. But on the West Coast scene, you were either a LARPer or you were a tabletop gamer, and there was very little crossover between them. At least in my experience. Yeah, it was. I felt like there was like weird stigma around it, and I didn't ever understand it. I was definitely a tabletop gamer, but when I would play in LARPs, I was never sure if like it was my place. And so one of the things that I wanted to do with Big Bad Con early on, the very first person I brought on staff, or one of the very first people I brought on staff, was our LARP coordinator, who was Devin Apple at the time, but now it's Jen Martin. And in both cases, I've said, I really want to make sure that that we're breaking down any barriers, perceived or real, between our LARP space and our TTRPG space. So we have a lot of people who are maybe more well known for their TTRPGs, like Jason, who created Fiasco and so Shabal Harry Roach and so many other great TTRPG games. He often comes out and runs LARPs, and it's great because folks are like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of Jason's games." They'll try them. They'll dip their toe. And we also, have, I don't know, a lot of the LARPs I feel like we bring are very lighthearted, very nostalgic, very easy to jump into. This isn't like a high costume thing. This is a game like My Jam, where you basically play up high schoolers going to prom. Like, you can dress up if you like, but you can just show up. We really try to like break down the barriers. And I know for some people, like blockbuster LARPs, where you spend hundreds of dollars getting your costume just perfect, like I get it. You look amazing. But I also want people to be able to just jump into a LARP like they would any game and say, "Oh, cool, I'm here to play."
Right. You want to lower that barrier to entry, but if they want to go full blown, they can. I love that. My family, we've LARPed out here in Chicago. My daughter was hired by a theater that does LARPing. It's called Otherworld Theater, and they have a thing called Moonrise Games. And they hired my daughter. She was pretty young, so they're like, "Oh, one of the parents have to go." So then they said, my wife's like, "Okay, you're going to go. You have a background in acting." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go." Then my character became important, and they said to my wife, "You're going to have to go." Yeah. We ended up doing 4 full sessions of the LARP. Wow. It was amazing. You never leave character for multiple days, and we were NPCs. It was just like life-changing. So whenever I hear LARP on this stuff, I'm like, yeah, break those barriers down, get out there and try it, because it is do you remember the movie What About Bob?
Oh yeah.
When he says, "Okay, you need to take a vacation from yourself." That is exactly what a LARP is.
It so is. Yeah, it's really true. And on that, as sort of a similar kind of helping people get out of themselves, Karen Twelves, esteemed author of Improv for Gamers, it also teaches her Improv for Gamers workshop at the con.
Oh, great.
It's a huge, all the exercises are all about, active listening, building off of other people's ideas, being really open to new relationships and really new offers, and like letting yourself kind of let go of a lot of your, the normal censoring that we do. So she has those workshops. They're phenomenal. And I love that. I think they really help. I've seen people take them and jump right into a game, LARP or TTRPG, and just dive in so deeply. It's been
I love it. Okay, let's talk about the tiers. Yes. You've got a bunch of tiers here. I've been looking at it. Yep. What are some you think are going to be the most interesting to fans?
Yeah. So what we've seen over the past, we've run 6 crowdfunding campaigns before this for the previous years. So some of these things are like, I know this is solid, and some of them are new experiments, and we're always tinkering a little bit. So the basic pledge level is the badge, $75, the same price to crowdfund it as it will be to walk in the door. But if you do it through the crowdfunding, we give you a little extra pin and a thank you, and you get listed on our Hall of Heroes. So there is no financial cost increase or decrease to do it, but there's a lot of recognition that we give because you do help. Giving us the money now really does help. So that's your basic get in the door. Last year we did. We used to do food baskets that we delivered to your games, which I loved. But considering we're asking everybody to wear masks during the events, we felt that wasn't quite the right idea for a COVID era convention. And so last year we started doing ground coffee from Hyacinth Grounds in Seattle. It's all hand posted, all selected by the baker. ET are
talking my language here.
Oh yeah, there we go. ET our games and demand coordinator. They live in Seattle, so they literally brought this giant duffel bag of coffee grounds to the con to the airport, and I was like, I imagine many TSA people wondered if what you were just carrying in there was a giant duffel bag of coffee. And,
right.
That's in fact what they were carrying. But so Denny from Hyacinth is going to be roasting us some more coffee. We also have Friday afternoon tea, and they're giving us a selection of Friday afternoon tea to go as well. So I find those to be a nice little I'd love to feed you. This is the best way that I can find to feed you in a way that is also not disruptive to the con at the same time.
I live in a house where we've got celiac, so we've got to be really careful about what we eat. So usually when places are going to feed us, we're like, oh, we're going to bring our own.
Yeah.
But I am not bringing my own coffee. You have won my heart with the coffee pass. That is brilliant.
Well. Yes. And of course, there's a couple options. And if you choose Seattle's finest, you get them all. The other thing that I think is really fun is a fun way for people to support the con, especially if you can't make it. This is an optional pledge level that you could take and add a badge to if you want to attend. But if you can't come to the con, but you still want to support it, or you still want to play games, we have some really wonderful GMs who have offered to run games online in advance as part of a pledge level.
Now, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice touch. In general, I don't like play-to-play as a model. I don't like the idea that if you pay $75 to attend the con, you can get in the normal version. But if you pay some premier amount, you can get in and get extra special games.
Right.
But in this case, when they are before the con as a separate event, and essentially it's the GM donating their time to the convention that we then use as fundraising for folks who want to support the con and also want to get something cool out of it, is that you can play a game with Grant Howitt, or you can play a game with Sen Fu Lin, or any of our other amazing GMs who are often, in many cases, running their own games, because we have a lot of game designers that come out. And so
I love it.
Running Chen Zhang, which is his game and playtest right now, and it's so you can get something that's really brand new and get to play with the creator at the same time.
Exceptional. Okay, so now we've hit pledges, and everybody knows that they need to get in at least the coffee level. If they support me, they better go to that coffee level. But it's once again, it's on Backerkit. It's Big Bad Con. That's how you search for it, or just look in the show notes. But you can go now before we've launched, and you can put in your email, and you will get notified as the project is getting closer, and then boom, it launches. Yes, so it's a way to not forget and get involved in this. What about stretch goals? Have you got any stretch goals you'd like to share?
I do. Thanks for asking. So in the past, we've tried lots of stretch goals, but the ones that we are the most excited about are the opportunities to bring out some guests, to run games and run and put on panels. And I'm really delighted about the folks we have out. The first couple people that we're going to reveal right at the start are Michelle Bradley, who she runs Tabletop News, which just got funded itself. So that's going to be coming out soon.
Excellent.
He's going to be putting on some really great panels about the logistics of putting on a show where you are trying to do like a professional level studio, where you are trying to, when you're trying to monetize your show, like how to make actual play work for you. I think that's a huge, important component. The next person on the list is Connor Alexander from Coyote and Crow. He's the founder of Coyote and Crow, and he's going to be running a few panels himself, as well as showing off some of their games. So Wolves, which is just about to come out, I was up in Seattle a couple months ago, and Connor was sharing it with me. It's this very cool semi-co-op game where you're trying to sort of make it through the winter. You're all these different tribes trying to make it through the winter, and you have various resources that other folks need, and the amount that you help each other also factors into your prestige. So you're looking at this like, how do I make sure we get by? But also, if anyone fails getting through the winter, you fail. Everyone fails the game together. So it's this co-op game where you're not just trying to optimize for the board state. You're also trying to optimize for yourself as well. And so there's sort of conflicting priorities there.
Oh, I love that.
There's no alpha player. There's nobody who's like, oh, in this co-op, you should do this and you should do that and you should do the other. Everybody has sort of a common agenda and a personal agenda. And I'm really excited. So he's going to be running several games of that, and he's going to be on some panels. And then I don't know.
No, that's if we hit the stretch goal.
That's
so
if we hit the stretch goal.
I want to make sure people understand that these sound like amazing things, but we got to hit the stretch goals to make this happen.
Yeah. And one last person I want to talk about, just because she's so amazing, is Nebula award-winning Kate Tempest Bradford. She came out in 2019 and ran a Writing is Other workshop that just blew people's minds. They were absolutely amazed by it. She couldn't make it out last year, but this year, especially because we had no COVID transmissions last year, and our public, because she felt really reassured by that. She is, again, if we hit the stretch goal, agreed to come out and teach some more workshops there as well, which her work is just mind-blowing. It's so good. It's in-depth. It is a serious sit down and like do world building together. And you come out of it with not only a lot of wisdom, but a lot of work you generated during the workshop itself. It's phenomenal. So
this sounds...
Let's bring her out.
Absolutely great. So the key is you got to tell your friends and you got to pledge, and we got to get to these stretch goals because each of these things are unlocking. It just gets better and better. And I know from what you've shown me here, you've got a lot of stretch goals we could go into. There are a lot of big names on here that could bring some fun things. I'm not going to share anything. No spoilers.
Yeah.
Just know you're going to want, I can't see one on here that you don't want.
Yeah. And any when we launch, just like usual, we're going to have a few listed because we don't want to overwhelm folks. But as they get hit, as we reach the goals, we'll be presenting more of them. And trust me, we've got a list of really, really cool people from all over. And they're
amazing.
Going to be running panels, running games that you can sign up for. And I'm really delighted, again, that there's no real division. All these games are in our regular roster. Anybody can sign up for them. And good times indeed.
Excellent. Sean, this has been great. Aside from the Backerkit, what social media do you want to give where people can interact with you?
For me personally, it's just my name, Sean Nittner. That's a good way to find me. And then for Big Bad Con in particular, it's at Big Bad Con on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, dice.camp, Mastodon. Honestly, even as much as the bird site keeps, going up in flames, that tends to be where I am the most, and it also tends to be where Big Bad Con is the most. So Twitter is usually the best place to find us.
I mean, I'm with you as a marketer. It's one of those I just keep going, just keep staying there. It's not dead yet, but oh my God, it's on fire. But it's still a good place to reach me.
It is. Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do. So Big Bad Con on Backerkit. Tell your friends, get in there and pledge. But before you can do any of that, you can tell your friends, but get in there and sign up for the email to notify you when this thing launches. You don't want to be caught after it's already done and go, oh, I missed it, because this is super cool. Here's another thing. I'm going to have Sean back on TTRPG Insider to talk more in depth about Big Bad Con and about some of the panels and things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll be fun. And I might have him on another show, which listeners may not know I do, called New Media Lab, where we're going to talk about kind of the logistics of doing this kind of thing, because Big Bad Con also has an online component, which is super cool.
It does indeed.
But we're gonna just lay that. We're gonna chum the water with that for right now.
Just tease a little bit.
Yes, we're gonna talk about Backerkit, Big Bad Con, September 28th through October 1st. Got to go to Backerkit to support this, and it will be in the show notes. Sean, thank you so much for being on. This was truly a pleasure.
It was my pleasure as well, Rob. Thank you a ton for reaching out, for hosting us, and for letting everybody know about it. And thanks to everybody listening. Following right now makes a huge difference. It just helps build that momentum. So anything you can do is very appreciated.
Yeah, you never know who out there is going to go, oh my God, this is amazing. Because that's what happened to me. I don't know where I saw you, and I went, Big Bad Con, this seems awesome to me. And I reached right out to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there's going to be more like me out there that are excited by this. So share it with your friends. Let them know this exists, because there is so much value here. There's so much cool stuff. And if you're a TTRPG fan, if you're a LARP fan, if you're just a fan of unbridled creativity, this is something you want to get involved with. So there you go. Thank you, Sean. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The Backerkit campaign for Big Bad Con 2023 begins on June 6th. Sign up right away to get email notifications about the launch so you can get in there on the first day to back it. You can find the link to the Backerkit in the show notes. That's where you can sign up for the email list. Thanks again, Sean, for coming on the show and sharing this absolutely incredible project with us. I am way into the idea, and I think it is super cool what you guys are doing. If you or anyone you know has a crowdfunding effort about to launch or currently going, send them our way. I love to share cool projects and to help people reach their goals. You can connect with me through the Go Fund This Podcast Facebook page or via email directly to rob@smgpods.com. You can find a link to this Backerkit and any links we discussed in the show notes. Go Fund This is a production of Southgate Media Group, hosted, edited, and produced by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks again for listening to Go Fund This.